Hello and welcome to the latest edition of The Road to Las Vegas. Today we come to you from the Levy Center at Santa Clara University, the site of the first ever WCC Women's Basketball Championships back in 1992. That year, Bronco great Melissa King took home Most Outstanding Player honors, and the Broncos advanced to the first NCAA tournament in league history. Well, last week, all 16 WCC men's and women's basketball teams moved a little bit closer on their journey to the 2010 Zappos.com WCC Basketball Championships at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. In women's hoops action, number 24 Gonzaga remained unbeaten in conference play, earning a 70-58 road win at Portland behind a game-high 19 points from senior Heather Bowman. The Zags rallied from a 36-30 halftime deficit to improve to 8-0 in WCC play. St. Mary's earned a pair of hard-fought wins over Bay Area rivals Santa Clara and San Francisco to remain just a half game behind Gonzaga in the WCC standings. Junior Luella Tomlinson turned in a huge weekend, averaging 17 points, 19 rebounds, and 6 blocks in the Gales' 2 wins. Tomlinson is now just 3 blocks shy of breaking the NCAA Division I career blocks record. San Diego also earned a Bay Area sweep, defeating San Francisco 67-52 before downing Santa Clara 67-58. San Diego senior forward Morgan Henderson tossed in a team-high 20 points against Santa Clara to become the 12th player in Torero history to eclipse the 1,000-point mark. Rounding out this week's women's action, Pepperdine senior forward Miranda Iam had a game-high 22 points and 10 rebounds, while sophomore Jasmine Jackson scored a season-high 20 in the Wave's 72-62 road win at Loyola Marymount. Switching gears to the men's side, St. Mary's moved a half game ahead of Gonzaga in the conference standings thanks to a pair of wins over Bay Area rivals Santa Clara and San Francisco. St. Mary's senior center Omar Samhan nearly registered a triple-double, scoring a game-high 22 points to go along with 12 rebounds and 8 blocks in the Gales' 74-62 win over Santa Clara. The St. Mary's big man followed that up with his 37th career double-double, scoring 24 points and grabbing 10 boards while collecting 7 more blocks in the Gales' 73-57 win over the Dons. Gonzaga completed a season sweep of Pacific Northwest rival Portland with a 76-49 win before stepping out of conference play to earn a 66-58 win at Memphis. Senior guard Matt Bolden knocked down 4 threes en route to a game-high 20 points in the Zags' win over the Pilots. Bolden followed that up with a team-high 19 points to go along with 3 assists and 4 boards in the Bulldogs' win over the Tigers. San Francisco earned a road split, pulling out a thrilling 72-70 overtime win at San Diego before falling at St. Mary's. With San Francisco trailing 70-68, USF freshman guard Michael Williams nailed a 3 and was fouled with 4 seconds remaining in overtime to lift the Dons over the Toreros. Santa Clara also earned a road split, falling at Bay Area rival St. Mary's, but bouncing back to defeat San Diego 59-43. Santa Clara freshman Robert Smith came off the bench to score a game-high 16 points in the Broncos' win over USD. Rounding out this week's action, Loyola Marymount avenged an earlier season loss to rival Pepperdine with a 77-61 win over the Waves. Sophomore forward Drew Viney led 4 Lions in double figures, tossing in a game-high 22 points and grabbing 6 rebounds. The West Coast Conference basketball season isn't always about rivalries. Sometimes it's about rallying together against something much bigger than the sport itself. All 8 WCC schools are committed to service, and one school that's taken that especially to heart is Santa Clara.
Almost every student athlete we have is involved in some capacity in community service work. Almost all our teams are. So many of our teams are going down to Mexico at breaks and things like that. And probably none of them have taken it to heart so much as women's basketball has. It's been a huge focus of what they do. They've worked with Bossy for years now, the Bay Area Women's Sports Initiative, which Brandy Chastain helped to found. They're of all our teams, they're probably among the most giving in terms of community service work, and we're incredibly proud of that.
The Jesuits are community-based. It's part of their mission is to make sure that we give back, and we're going to do that in every possible way, whether it's with Bossy, the Haiti Relief Fund that we teamed up with San Francisco with. It's part of what this school is all about, and all of our schools really in the conference is to serve others and make our communities better.
Last weekend, Santa Clara's women's basketball team hosted its annual Pink Zone event to raise awareness for breast cancer. San Francisco and Portland also hosted Pink Zone games in their own gyms. The day featured many parts. Players sported pink shoelaces, staff members wore pink ribbons, and the entire Levy Center was decorated with pink streamers and balloons.
Obviously, it's a great cause, and supporting the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the KYOW efforts from the WBCA is always really important. Near and dear to my heart, my mom is a breast cancer survivor. We have people on staff and a part of our community here that have been affected by breast cancer. And I just think it's a good cause and something that we need to do to give back to the community. So we did our part. We tried to raise money by tie-dyeing some shirts, and signing them and raffling them off. We supported our efforts with the pink shirts, and our student organization, the Rough Riders, donated that during the game. And we did some things in and out throughout the game that supported that cause.
As one can imagine, putting together the Pink Zone event was no small task. It took many people's efforts across campus to get the Pink Zone message across, from the Student Booster Club to the players, to the staff, even the honorary coach of the game, University President Father Michael Eng. But Pink Zone is only one of many community service projects this busy Santa Clara Winds basketball team is committed to.
We go out to underprivileged schools in the community and work with young girls and really teach them that they can be healthy, powerful young individuals, and just get them active and get them out in the community. So many people have given to me and helped me to get to where I am today that, giving an hour a week to these little girls is so important and so easy for us to do.
This team player mentality, both on and off the court, stems from the top with Coach Jennifer Mountain, who has taught her players that being a female collegiate basketball player involves more responsibilities than scoring points and grabbing rebounds.
To be able to give back, and I do think it's part of their responsibility as a student athlete, because they are so gifted, and they're given a chance to do things that 1% of the population gets to do. And I think it's part of our job to make sure that they realize the opportunities that they have. And it's not just a given. It's we've got to work hard on and off the court.
Just seeing these little girls, struggle through what they have to go through at home and at school, and the things that they have to fight through, it really makes, looking at my life, the little obstacles, the time management, the homework, the stress of basketball, it really puts it all in perspective for me.
5 weeks into conference play, and all 8 WCC Winds basketball teams look forward to closing the regular season on a high note before they get to the tournament in Las Vegas, but not without touching the hearts of many along the way. With just 3 weeks of conference play left, there are several crucial matchups on both the men's and the women's side. Let's take a look at the schedules. Tipping off the action this Thursday on the men's side, Bay Area schools Santa Clara and San Francisco host Southern California foes Loyola Marymount and Pepperdine. Later that evening, Portland hosts San Diego in a game televised on ESPNU, while St. Mary's travels to Gonzaga in a first-place showdown on ESPN2. The 5th week of men's conference play comes to a close on Saturday with all 8 schools in action. 2 more nationally televised games highlight the schedule as Portland plays host to St. Mary's in a contest televised on ESPN2, while San Diego travels to Gonzaga in a matchup you can see on ESPNU. On the women's side, the top 2 teams in the league go head-to-head as Gonzaga travels to the Bay Area to take on the St. Mary's Gales, while Santa Clara and San Francisco travel to Southern California to take on LMU and Pepperdine. San Diego hosts Portland. The women's schedule wraps up on Saturday with all 8 teams taking the court. Gonzaga travels to San Diego, USF plays at LMU, Santa Clara visits Pepperdine, and St. Mary's hosts Portland. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next Wednesday for another edition of The Road to Las Vegas. At Santa Clara's Levy Center, I'm George Devine for WCC TV.